Today I am going to go over the difference between living nomadically and living in a home or an apartment. Right now, the economy, the world, it's all in a pretty wild place. Inflation's through the roof, gas prices are through the roof, everything costs more. It's difficult to get a house. So that's why I'm gonna be going over the difference between living nomadically and living in a house, because there are some really interesting benefits to living nomadically that I think are really valuable, especially in times like this. So let's get started. This is my chair, king of the castle, king of the castle. Obviously, one of the benefits to having an apartment or a home is there's a lot more space. You can kick up your legs, you can be the king of the castle, you can have your own chair. Another benefit of the house is you got the TV, you got the living room, you got a place to kind of kick back, chill, and immerse yourself in all of the wonderful comforts. Yeah, a dishwasher. Between a house and living nomadically, depending on your lifestyle, you're probably going to be spending about the same amount on groceries. You got some plants, you got cats. How do you like living nomadically? Like traveling, getting in touch with your primal self? I think she likes nomadic traveling a little bit more. If you couldn't figure out by now, my cat Cleo, she's actually telepathic. So she doesn't really speak, but she emits a frequency that thankfully... Ow! Hey, dude. Justin, my editor, he understands. He knows how to transcribe.
Humans are fools. This world shall soon be mine.
There's no denying one of the benefits of the house is having a nice big bathroom. You know, having all this space. You got a nice throne. You know, you got a shower and a bath. And of course, you just have the spaciousness of a bed. Overall, there's no denying that there are a lot of comforts that a home is gonna provide that living nomadically, traveling all around, all over the place, is not gonna provide. However, a lot of these comforts have actually started to harm us as a human species. Let me explain. For example, if you're in the city, it's really convenient that we have water, right? That comes out of the faucet. And one of the problems is a lot of the cities across America, and especially many other places in the world, it's not that healthy to drink tap water. It's filled with different chemicals because it goes through water processing plants. So that's just one example of how a comfort, something as easy as just filling up a glass of water from the sink, yeah, it's easy, it's comfortable, but it's also slowly killing us. Oopsie. Sorry to bring the news to you. I know what you're thinking. Nomadic lifestyle, it's not gonna just get you out of all of these different societal problems. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is a lot of the comforts that we surround ourselves with in this modern society, I would argue they're actually making us a lot weaker as a society and not stronger. You're looking at an average of over $2,000 a month just for rent. That's typically not including utilities. I get a lot of criticism from people that say, my truck can't tow this Airstream. People in the comments are like, man, your truck, you can't tow it, it's too heavy. I don't know why they have a UK accent, but I'm sorry about that one. My Tacoma is rated to tow about 6,800 pounds. I got it re-geared to compensate for the lift kit that I got put on and the bigger tires. I got 35s installed and about a 4-inch lift kit. So I do have about 950 pounds, and with the hitch and the rooftop tent, I'm definitely pushing it. I'm not gonna deny that. But like many other things in my life, when people say, here's what you gotta do, here's the rules, I say, interesting. So the Airstream fully loaded with the water tank full. I think I've got about a 26-gallon water tank here on the Flying Cloud. Now when this thing is fully loaded, it's about 6,000 pounds. So again, I'm rated to tow about 6,800. This is 6,000 fully loaded. Now Airstream conservatively does bump that up just a little bit. So all in all, I have experienced no problems towing this. I mean, I've pulled this thing up really steep hills. It's done perfectly fine. Oh yeah, baby, we got a V6 in that. She looks sexy.
Wow, I could have had a V8.
I've got 70,000 miles so far on this engine, and like I said, Tacomas are rated to go hundreds of thousands of miles. I haven't had any issues except the radiator when I was off-roading. For whatever reason, these new radiators have some plastic components, so I was off-roading and a rock flung up and smacked the radiator and caused that to leak, so I did have to get a new radiator, but under warranty that was all covered. So other than the radiator, I've been keeping up with the basic maintenance, keeping up with the oil changes, keeping all the fluids good. I've had no issues. So I know what people are gonna say. Watch out for your tranny, dude. It's gonna go out. I do need to get the trailer lifted another 3 inches. That will help the truck, but overall, while I'm driving on the highway, I'm going about 65. And again, like I said, I get about 11 miles per gallon, which is almost double what an RV would get. And depending on the bus or the van that you're working on, that's pretty decent for gas mileage for pulling literally my house. One of the things I factored into living nomadically on the budget is, believe it or not, tires. So you really want to make sure you're rotating tires often, because I made the mistake early on not rotating my tires enough. And it can get some uneven wear and tear depending on if, obviously like my Tacoma, because of the lift kit, it sags down a little bit. So make sure you're rotating your tires. But overall, I factored in about $200 a month on average for maintenance of just tires, oil change, all that stuff. Obviously, it's not gonna happen every month. Judging based on my finances, I put about $200 a month of maintenance costs between the truck and the trailer. Some months it's gonna be a little higher, some months that'll be a little bit lower. I would argue one of the cooler benefits of living nomadically is you get to be a little bit more in touch with what you're consuming. Right here, I've got my electric in here. This is where my water tank gets filled up. That's my refrigerator. And obviously right there is the poop chute.
Poopy time!
That's where poopy time happens. Okay, now let's go over some of the pros and the cons of living nomadically in a trailer, such as this one. Actually, one of the cons, as you can see right here, you travel a lot and things are constantly moving around. So things are breaking. I'm having to, repair drawers and shelves and all sorts of different screws and bolts, and just making sure that those things are tight. Like this, for example, the clip right here broke off, so now I'm gonna have to reattach that. But again, that's not a big deal. You just kind of got to stay on top of it. As you can tell, one of the main differences is the square footage. My entire home is inside of this trailer, meaning my kitchen is here, my bed is back there, the table is here, and my guest room is right here. And then if you open this door back here, I've got my bathroom. Still got my throne, it's a little more humble. I do have a shower. As you can tell, this is a more minimalist lifestyle, and out of the minimalist lifestyles, having an Airstream is definitely on the higher end. In terms of a nomadic lifestyle, usually they're pretty minimalist. I had to eliminate a lot of different clothes to fit them all in my closet here. We had to really bring only the dishes that we need. As I was mentioning earlier, I have to hand wash everything. At some point, I don't really use our oven. I use it as storage mainly. So at some point, I would like to replace that with the dishwasher. All right, now that you've seen the difference between the house and the trailer, you've heard some of the pros, some of the cons. Now, the most important thing about this video, let's break down the cost difference between living nomadic and living in the city, or living in a home or apartment. Remember in school when they said you can't use a calculator on the test? They're like, out in the real world, you're not gonna be able to have a calculator. Welcome to the game. Now, as I mentioned earlier, everyone's nomadic lifestyle, everyone's home-based lifestyle is gonna be a little bit different. Some people are gonna find maybe a used vehicle like a van or a bus, and they're gonna spend a lot more than I did, or they're gonna spend a lot less than I did. It really comes down to what lifestyle you want to live and what your dreams are, what your dream vehicle or home is. To get these calculations, I took the national averages. So like I was saying earlier, the national average for rent is now, because of inflation, it's over $2,000. With utilities, we're looking at closer to maybe like $2,300 to $2,500. With groceries, maybe let's say we're looking at about $500 between both nomadic and home lifestyle. And with entertainment, I factored in another $200. That's gonna be the same with nomadic or home-based lifestyles. Now, I'm also factoring a car payment. So for the home-based lifestyle, I put about $300, which is pretty close to the average. My truck costs about $850, but like I said, everybody's vehicle is gonna be a little bit different. The average is gonna be closer to the more like $300 to $400 range when you're talking about a nomadic vehicle, but I'm just breaking the cost. All I really know is my cost, so for mine, I'm gonna put about $850. The Airstream itself, I pay about $450 after my down payment, and with insurance of both the truck and the Airstream, I pay about $250. When I'm traveling a lot, let's just say I'm paying about $500 a month for gas. When I'm set up off-grid, I'm really not paying anything for gas, maybe like $100 a month. It all depends on how much you're moving around. That's kind of, again, the beauty of the lifestyle. You get to determine, this month maybe I don't have the finances to travel as much, so I'm gonna try to stay in one spot. Conservatively, I'm gonna budget on the high end $500. Like I said earlier, another $200 for maintenance, and then over at the City Life, we're looking at maybe like $150 for insurance, and then I left taxes blank because that's gonna be different for every single person, depending on what state you live in. Some people have 0% income tax, some people have upwards of like 10 to 15. That's going to be determined by where you live. Now, I'm sure I'm missing some costs. I'm just trying to give a rough estimate so we can break down the two of these. Overall, my monthly expenses on a month where I'm traveling a lot is going to be about $29.50. The national average of living in a city life is going to be between $31.50 to, I would say, about $3,500. As you can see, it's more expensive to rent a home. Now, your rent and utilities, it's going to be a little bit lower if you own a home, but your down payment's going to be a little bit higher. Let's break down some of the more important differences between renting and living nomadically. Renting, you're paying a lot. The main thing is there's no ownership. You do not own that house. You're just paying that money every single month, and you're kind of flushing it down the drain. There's also less or no travel at all, because a lot of times when you're living in a city, you have to go get work in that area and you're kind of locked into that city. So maybe you only have like a month or two every single year that you get to travel. Some of the benefits are you're not really going to be spending anything on maintenance costs or upkeep on the house. That's definitely a benefit. And again, another benefit that I didn't write down here is the comforts. You know, you do have a lot more comforts at home. You have a lot more space, you have a lot more opportunities to store things, so there's definitely benefits there that you can't deny. Now, for living in a home, a lot of times if you're owning a home, you're paying yearly property taxes, maybe HOA fees, you're paying income tax, state tax, federal tax, all those things. That adds up. Some of those taxes nobody can avoid, we're all paying those. Now let's look at my nomadic situation. I have ownership. I'm spending just under $3,000 a month, but at the end of the day, I own the truck and I own the Airstream. So yes, this is not a physical house, but it's a mobile home and I own it. At the end of the day, I'm making these monthly payments, but there will come a time where I don't have to make those monthly payments, and all I got to do is just really keep these things up and make sure they're functioning. Another obvious benefit is travel. I've been able to go so many different places and set up and live in a different city, and if I don't like that city, I just get up and go. If I like that city, I can stay for a little while longer. So that's a huge benefit with nomadic living, is you're constantly traveling. You definitely have maintenance. That's one of the cons. One of the pros, for me, as I shared earlier, I established my residency in South Dakota. South Dakota has a program for nomads such as myself, so there's no income tax. So again, I'm not beholden to one single state anymore because I have a mobile home. I don't have to claim residency in any state. I don't have to claim residency in a state that I'm not living in. Anybody who's nomadic can go register in a state like South Dakota. There's a couple others out there, I'm sure, but you don't have to pay state income tax. So all that money, so you're saving thousands of dollars every single year that you can pour into maintenance, upgrades, all sorts of different things. Alright, hopefully you gained some value from this cost breakdown. Like this video, subscribe, and please leave a comment, ask questions. If I left something out, please bring it to my attention. I'm down to make more videos to share some of the tips and tricks of how I bought this Airstream, the truck, how I have a digital e-com business that powers this entire lifestyle and funds my documentaries. And ultimately, many of you have heard me share in previous videos, my ultimate dream is to get a very large plot of land that a lot of different people can come and enjoy and experience the benefits of living off-grid or nomadic with access to technology. Do any of these things sound interesting to you? I'm really curious if other people are thinking this way and looking at what's going on in the world and starting to plan to live differently than the traditional lifestyle that our parents or grandparents or previous generations have always been able to rely on. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.